What's going on, everybody? We are back, but things are a little different. If y'all have noticed, we've had some freaking paranormal things happen around the studio, and they have transferred over to Smoke Dog's house.
Yeah.
Now, talking to me, I'm gonna say, listen, y'all, I am not the one to believe in ghosts or anything like that, but we have seen orbs in here. We had a skull in one of our tool videos, Diary Von Satan, move.
Yeah.
Smokey comes in and he starts telling me about some things, creepy things he's happened, and I've had some creepy things happen here. So I'm like, bro, don't tell me what happened, because I'm this is gonna be my first time hearing too. But I say let's just share these quick experiences.
Okay.
You tell yours, I'll tell you what happened to mine.
All right. So the two different incidents. The other night, me and a friend were at my house, and we were back in the other side of the house, like back toward the bedrooms, and it was dark, all the lights were off, and I hear this bang in my kitchen, or I didn't know which room it was coming from originally, so I jump up, and I think somebody came in the door or something, something just went bam, and so I go through the house flipping on lights. I'm like, what is this? And I go in there in my kitchen, and the trash can has been dumped over. Like the top came off of it. And
your kitchen?
Yes, all the way in the kitchen. The trash can was flipped, or not flipped, but over, and the top of it just slammed against the floor somehow. No idea how. I mean, it sits on level ground.
Okay, see, now I think there's an explanation for most of these things. So
could be.
I'm going to ask you, when did this happen?
This would have been last Thursday night, I think.
Okay, last Thursday night. Did you know we had an earthquake? And you knew about that, right? We had an
I didn't.
Last week.
I didn't feel that.
A lot of people did. I actually felt it.
Okay. That could be the explanation.
Could be it.
Yes.
I mean, or it could be something paranormal.
Yes.
You had another one.
And the other one could also be explained, maybe. So I was asleep. I was alone in my house. I was asleep in my bed. I had this dream that I was awake, but it was kind of like paralysis. I couldn't move. I was awake, and the TV was going. So I'm watching TV in my dream, thinking I'm awake, actually watching the TV. But this entity walks through my door in my bedroom. The door is always open. I'm the only one there, so there's no reason to lock doors or anything. This entity walks through my door and walks over to my bed, and he's standing right beside my bed, and I'm just watching this whole thing. In my dream, I'm starting to get scared. I'm like, what is this, and what is going on? This thing turns and sits on my bed right over my feet.
Wow.
Where my feet are.
This is in the dream?
Yes, in the dream.
Okay.
So at that point, when it's set on my feet, I'm getting scared. So I'm pulling myself out of this dream. Like, I'm bailing out right now. So I pull myself, I wake up, and I kind of sit up, and I notice my feet, and from my knees down all the way, especially my feet, were vibrating. I had never felt this before in my life.
Wait, you mean like your hand going numb sensation? Or?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like the cutoff circulation. It was actually vibrating. Like my feet were like.
When did this
vibrating? This is probably like 2 weeks ago.
Again, we Georgians don't have many earthquakes. I'm just trying to think of something logical.
Well, this could be logical. I mean, it could be just a phenomena that occurs in the body that causes your feet to vibrate.
Because sleep paralysis is a real thing.
Yes, definitely. And sometimes people see like the Hat Man or the old hag that'll crawl on top of you and hold you down,
Yeah.
And I think maybe if we want to think about it logically, it could be something that was happening to my body that caused my feet to have a vibrating sensation, and my dream was making up a reason why that was happening.
Possible.
But yeah, I woke up, and for the next 3-4 minutes probably, my feet were still vibrating, and I'm just trying to figure out like, why? What is this feeling?
It's just crazy. You were having a dream, and an entity came and sat on your feet.
Yes.
You woke up from the dream and your feet are vibrating.
They were vibrating, like literally vibrating. First time I've ever felt that in my life.
Y'all, also, we're two logical, very sane, very rational people are speaking right now. So what we're saying is straight up truthful. And tell them, I remember you telling me another one that you had, like you saw something go across the window or something. Your daughter had said something.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I live in a house that was built in 1972, so it's kind of old. It's an old modular house, So all the time you would hear like creaks and just if you I don't know if you've ever been in a modular house or not, but sometimes especially when they're that old, the house settles, and you'll walk across the floor and you can hear pops and creaks all over the place. So you'll hear that all the time in my house. Like maybe somebody's walking across the floor and hears the pops and creaks and things like that. And there's been times where I hear like footsteps go across the attic, which could be squirrels or something getting up in there. It's really hard to tell, but I've been hearing that ever since I moved into that house.
See, now what's crazy is listen, you moved into that house when we first started this podcast.
Yes.
The Trash Talkers, when we're doing podcasts. I never experienced anything paranormal here except for when we started the podcast. Now, I'll tell my 2 incidents. Other than the orbs on almost a lot of our videos that you guys have pointed out, also the skull moving that you guys pointed out, which still to this day kind of freaks me out a little bit. But there was one, I came home, it was a long shift I had worked, man, and I came home and I came upstairs to edit a video, and I normally put my keys right at the door on the key rack downstairs. So I wake up the next morning to go try to find my keys. I go to the obvious place, it's not there. Go in the kitchen, okay, it's not there. I'm looking everywhere. I even called my friend that I'm on the phone who I was with last night, and I'm like, hey, do you remember me telling you where I put my keys? And she was like, yeah, you threw them on the couch. So I'm looking through all the couches, everything. I come upstairs in the studio. I wish I could show y'all a picture. There's a balcony in the studio where you can look over. My key, and this is when the desk was here. So my keys were like on the very edge of the balcony. I have no clue how they got there, to the point where I had to call one of my coworkers 2 days in a row to get a ride to work. I don't know how. Logically, maybe I threw them, or I don't remember that. But what's crazy about it is I went to a local smoke shop, and they have sage. You know what I'm talking about? So she was like, it's free. Why don't you try it out? So my mom's like, yeah, it's cool. It gets rid of bad energy. I did that 2 nights before. 2 days after, my keys are just randomly hanging in the most craziest spot you can imagine. Another thing that's happened with the orbs, and I haven't experienced this personally, but this might have been 10, 15 years ago. This house that I'm in now, my parents owned it, and they stayed here 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago. And this used to be my cousin's room. And my cousin told me that he would see green orbs in this room at night. I swear to God. Now that you guys are pointing out orbs, it's starting to make sense.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It could be anything, and, with us recording with the camera and the lights, it could be dust or anything like that. Doesn't explain how your keys got there.
That's freaking me out a little bit.
Yeah,
the only thing, it's just the sage. Like, they say it gets rid of negative energy, but when I burnt the sage, my keys end up...
But maybe it's not anything negative. See, the thing is... The experiences I've had have not done anything malicious or anything, and they're not even really trying to scare me, I guess.
Well, the entity you said was kind of scary in your dream.
It was scary in my dream because I actually saw the entity, and it was like this shadow thing that walked into my room and sat down, but it was all in my dream, and the chances are this is nothing. These are just normal occurrences, and because we were doing a podcast related to esoteric things, we covered ghosts and even zombies and monsters and all this, Bigfoot, whatever. It could be that our minds just started connecting dots at that point.
Or, we do so many songs like Ghost and, Iron Maiden, The Number of the Beast, and Hollywood
We had
6.
that Ouija board.
The Ouija board. I have a Ouija board t-shirt.
Yeah.
And just so happened that skull moved when the Ouija board was back there.
It did. Yeah, it really did.
But I don't know, yo. I just felt like we should share these experiences because we've seen so many people point out things that's happened. And when Smokey came in, he's like, bro, I had something weird happen. Not once, not twice, but multiple occasions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I'm like, hey, man, let's share it with the church.
My daughter said that she could hear the doors open and slam, before. That was the first thing I thought, too. When I heard the bang in my kitchen, I was like, somebody just opened the door and slammed it.
That is fucking weird.
And then I go in and see the trash can. I'm like, well, that's what made the sound. And, of course, my friend was like, it's just the ghost. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think I've named our ghost in the studio. I think we've named it. Not sure if I want to put the name out there yet, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not.
Not yet, because if you name it, then it becomes a thing.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if I want.
I mean, it could all just be a tulpa. It could be a manifestation of things that we're dreaming up. You know, just happen to manifest in real life, which is a phenomena that you guys could look up. You know, tulpas are a actual phenomena that people experience. You know, they're thought forms that people think about so much that it actually manifests itself in real life.
Exactly.
That could be what's happening, because the brain has weird energy that we really don't understand as a scientific community.
The brain is a crazy thing.
It is.
I mean, also, dude, just even we've had so many synchronicities happening lately, and we've had so many coincidences. Like, remember when we did Flood by Tool?
Mm-hmm.
It was raining outside.
Yeah.
It flooded that night.
Definitely.
Damn, what was the other one, man?
Didn't we do Ghost there in a weird storm that popped up?
Yes! Out of nowhere!
Yeah.
Man.
It's crazy. Guys, I don't know how you guys see it. It could be a logical explanation for everything. Or do you guys believe in ghosts? What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you see ghosts? Let us know.
Have you? Have you ever seen a ghost?
Only through my dreams.
I got another good one.
I got one good one.
I got another good one. When my grandma died on the black side of my family, no one smoked. No one smoked. She had an ashtray. For some reason, I think my granddad gave it to her, and he would smoke cigars. So when she had died, the entire family was over there, after the funeral, trying to, okay, who's going to get the TV? Who's going to get these kind of things? There was a distinct smell of cigar. No one smoked in this house. This is before my cigarette days. No one smoked in this house, but it was that distinct cigar smell that my granddad would smell.
Granddad was standing there like, y'all taking what?
I be damn.
I bought that. Why do you get that?
Shout out, Granddad. What's yours? What was you about to say?
Oh, man. When I was a kid, I used to see this specific entity in my dreams. That it was reoccurring. And it was a little girl in white. And she would manifest either in my car while I was driving or around my car. I specifically remember this one time where I was leaving my parents' house and I was going to go pick up a friend. And as soon as I pulled out of the driveway, there was this little girl in white standing there alongside the car. And I look at her. She's right outside the window.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. And I'm sure I said it on the podcast before. And she said, "Don't go. Stop. Don't go." And I look past her over the horizon, and there's this giant storm.
Yeah, I remember
like giant storm. This is like a city leveling storm that was coming up.
This was in a dream?
Yes. And I every time I would see her in occasions after that, in dreams, it was always this little girl dressed in completely white that was always watching over me. And one time she was actually in the back seat of my car.
I remember you telling me that.
And then there were occasions after that in real life where I was racing somebody down a road, as kids do. I think I was like 16 or 17, just having fun. And I came around this corner doing probably way too fast, like over 100 miles an hour. And there was a van stopped dead in the middle of the road. So being an inexperienced driver, I lock up the brakes. And I'm sliding toward this car, just hauling, just sliding down the road. And I'm like, well, we're hitting this van. Like, it's going to be a car totaler. Like, that's how fast we were going. My buddy's over in the passenger seat screaming. I turn the wheel, nothing turns because you're sliding. You have no traction. Nope. Dude, I swear, something snatched my foot off the brake and nailed the gas. And we shot off the side of the road, landed down at the bottom of the ditch. The side of the road, off the shoulder. Drove right around it, right back up on the road, and kept going.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. So I always attributed that to the little girl in white watching over me and helped me out that day.
You were 16, so this was before your daughter was born?
Oh, yeah, long before.
Have you had these dreams since your daughter's been born?
No, I haven't, actually.
I would attribute it to that.
Could be.
I would attribute that with
the spirit of her.
Your daughter saying, coming into your life. I helped you before, so here I am now in real person.
Yeah, that could very well be, yes.
Guys, we just wanted to share this with y'all. Keep an eye open. If y'all watch these videos and y'all happen to see anything weird, let us know, because we don't think it's anything malicious, but...
No, not at all.
If
just give us your opinions on it.
Yeah, and if y'all have had any opinions.
Yeah, and we want to hear your stories, definitely, because that'll be fun.
Absolutely. With that being said, my name's Hollywood 6. Bye.
I am Larry, Smokey, Rameriz, Cowan.
And we are...
Over.
And...
Out.
Deuces.